Welcome to my channel. We're going to be playing a game. Let's go with the Endglund Gambit. He accepts the Gambit immediately, but I'll develop my knight and attack the pawn. He develops his knight to protect it, and I'm going to go Queen E7, adding some pressure to the pawn. He goes Bishop to G5, immediately attacking my queen. Okay, so I'm thinking about F6, but there's always this Queen B4 move which attacks the king and it attacks the pawn. I'm just going to check though. If he blocks with the bishop, I take. If he goes there, it's the same thing. If he blocks with the queen, I take, and it's the same thing. So I think this check is fine. So let's just check here. He develops the knight to block the check. I'm thinking about taking this pawn, and there's knight d5, which is already threatening some checkmates. So I need to be super careful. This is what happens when you play the Endglund Gambit at 1800. But let's see. If I take, the knight goes here. I'm thinking about check, and then he blocks with the bishop, and then I takes, and then the other knight takes, and it's weird. But let's go for it. Let's take the pawn. Oh, he didn't even play that move, which means bishop b4. Oh, but it's the same line. He's playing the same line, but am I ahead by a tempo? I'm not sure if I'm ahead by a tempo here, because am I able to play knight b4? Well, if I play knight b4, there's rook c1, and he just protects the pawn. I'm able to take here, but I don't want that. I could go bishop here, and then he goes here, I go here, and then he goes knight d5, and then he'll have a better position. But I play the Endglund Gambit a lot, so now you see what happens when someone play the best moves, and at least you guys can know how I react to the best move. So let's go for it. So here he needs to go rook b1, and after queen a3, he goes knight d5. He didn't play knight d5 when he had the chance, so I'm kind of assuming he doesn't see it, but he just played it. So let's move the queen out the way. Now he needs to go knight b5, or even knight b5 is a strong move. The whole point is my c7 pawn is just so weak. That's what will give white the better position, how he reacts to it. Okay, he attacks my queen again. I don't think that is good. If you're playing against the Endglund Gambit, just remember, the c7 pawn is weak. Use your knight to attack c7. I have to move my queen, so I'm going to put it here and putting some pressure here. I still think I'm creating short form content, which is why I'm repeating stuff like that, because my editor usually edits it. I mean, he's probably going to be editing this as well, but let's see. Okay, he plays e4, and that's not necessarily a pawn, because if I takes, then my bishop is left unprotected. I want to develop my knight, but then the pawn is there. I want to play d6, but then he takes, and I takes, and I don't want to give him this discovery. So how do I continue here? Okay, fine. I'm gonna play this f6 move. Usually you don't want to play f6 when you're playing chess, because it weakens this diagonal pointing towards the king, and it's gonna be hard for you to get castled. But I'm trying to develop my pieces. If he takes, I take back. I want to be able to play d6, adding some pressure to this rook, because then if this rook moves out the way, I'll be able to grab this knight for free. I'm still scared of knight d5 ideas though. I mean, if he finds it, then I have to play something like king to d8. I think I could have even just played knight e7 and castle. Oh boy, he found it now. He found it. All right, that's fine. Let's first take here, and that's a check. He has to respond to the check. We spoke about our c7 pawn being weak. He took with the queen because he wants to remove the defender of my c pawn. But let's take. I think we have to trade there. I think f6 was a mistake. But I'm going to win this game because I'm stronger than him, but not because my opening was, so good. Now I have to defend this, so let's play here, and then he goes here. I'm not down by anything though, so that's fine. Position is still equal, but from a positional perspective, he's clearly better. He took. Let's just take, develop. There's also this move, but I'm not really as scared of this far because I have a rook here. He should take though, because then my pawn is going to be weak and ugly on f6. I'm also attacking his e4 pawn, so he needs to be careful there. Okay, he took. Let's take. I need to develop my bishop, and his development is just easy. But let's see. The position is equal. We're not losing. Oh, he wants to chat. he messaged me saying I'm 2500 bullet. It ain't fair. All right, he plays bishop to d3. He develops his bishop. I like this move because it immediately attacks his pawn, and obviously we need to be putting our rooks on open files. But I don't like the fact that he can always just play here and attack my rook. So I'm not saying I'm not going to put my rook there, but let's start by playing this move, because we need to develop. But the issue is I have to be careful about moving this bishop because I'm going to lose this pawn. So probably I should have played my b pawn, who knows. But let's see what he does. I'm not really seeing how he's going to use his slight advantage, to be honest. Maybe I should have played b6 before, but I'm probably going to just play b6 and bishop here and attack his rook. It's going to be an endgame, and now that we're in the endgame, it's at least I can teach you guys a little lesson about the endgame. In the endgame, the goal is to attack the opponent's pawns. So we're not basically looking to checkmate the king or anything like that. We're just trying to target the pawns. So I want to target this pawn, maybe this one if I manage to put a bishop here. He's thinking though, so let's see what he does. Okay, he moves the rook, putting his rook on this file. It doesn't really help because he can't play this move. I still can put my rook here, but I just know he's going to move his pawn there. So let me try to figure out how I'm going to develop this bishop first. So I'm going to start by moving this pawn, so that way when I develop my bishop, it attacks his rook and I won't lose my pawn. I'm applying what is called the drawback principle here. Now my knight is unprotected. Basically, I'm very weak on the light scores, so exchanging the light scored bishops would be good for me. The reason why I say white is better here is because all his pieces are doing something and my pieces aren't really doing much, but it doesn't really matter if you're playing against someone who's stronger. Once I don't blunder, he's going to just keep making moves that doesn't really do anything, and eventually I'll get a better position. So he moves his king. Now let's develop our bishop hitting that rook. The rook now has to move, and from here we're just trying to bring as much of our pieces in the game. I think he has to put the rook here because he does want to lose this pawn. Okay, and I'm now thinking about pushing this so that way I can go here at the pawn at the bishop. I'm also thinking about this, but I think he'll just put his knight there. Okay, fine. Let's start by putting our rook on the open file, attacking that pawn. He's going to play this move. Okay, now I'm going to move this pawn here. I want to play this. I'm also doing something strategic. Notice how my opponent has a light squared bishop. So if I put all my pawns on dark squares, then it's hard for him to do anything with the bishop. He moves the pawn here, trying to prevent my knight from going here. I'm thinking about moving my pawn 2 squares up to attack the rook. I like this move, and then he goes here, and then I check, he takes, I takes, and then he has the knight and I have the bishop. I'm not sure if I like that position. I'm just going to improve my king. When you're in the end game, you need to ensure that your king is active, so let's just do that. As we say, we're just going to be playing a lot of moves, and eventually my position is going to get slowly better than his. Let's see. Okay, he puts his knight there. If I takes, he takes with the pawn, and that's a very good structure. So instead, I want to put my knight here. I don't mind him taking the bishop, because then the game is going to be a bit imbalanced, and then I can start going for these types of moves with my knight. So let's put the knight here. Attacking the bishop, knight c4 could be a threat. Knight g4 could also be a threat. Let's see. He pulls his bishop back. That's already a check. He takes, I take, and I'm attacking this pawn. Another thing that I'm thinking of is putting my bishop here, because if he takes my bishop, then I can win his rook. But I mean, if I put my bishop here, he's just going to move his pawn forward, so that doesn't really do much. All right, let's see. Okay, so I have 3 minutes on my clock. Time is definitely a factor. Okay, you know what? I'm going to play this move, so that way if he pushes the pawn and I go back, at least I'm able to move my h-pawn and the bishop doesn't attack it. The time is now ticking down, so, they usually make a lot of mistake here. Let's see. He plays f4, attacking my knight. That's a very strong move. If I take his bishop and he takes my knight, and then I take his pawn, he checks me here. This is a very crazy position. Oh, but this is a nice square for my knight. I don't want to take his bishop though, but this just complicates the game. And then I go, it complicates the game. Let's say I take back, and then, that's weird. Okay, let's just take the bishop. Oh, he didn't even take my knight. This guy's not playing the best moves. But he has a very strong knight though. Because his knight going here, very, very annoying. Okay, he's attacking my knight. Let me just pull it back. The time is ticking. We have 1 minute 48 and he has 3 minutes. So I have to start speeding up a bit. His knight going here is very annoying. But I'm just going to play king here. You know, your opponent has a knight. You have to ensure that you're watching out for any forks. This pawn could definitely be a target, but all his pieces are able to protect it. So I'm not really attacking it just yet. He checks my king. Let's simply put the king here. If he checks my king here, then I go here. This is not really a good move. So I kind of wanted him to do that because now my knight could go here freely. And then this pawn is so weak because it's backward. He wants to put his knight here, so I'm going to start by putting my knight here. It prevents his knight from going here, and I can start attacking his pawn. I think I'm better now. I think I'm winning because he has no way to make progress, and I'm just going to put both of my rooks on this open file. And I could also play d5, adding some pressure to this pawn if it is still pinned. But again, the time is ticking, so let's see. He moves the knight. Okay. He wants to trade. I'm not really a fan of trading knights right now, but that's fine. Let's trade. I'm just going to take and then play this move. I want my rook to get very active, basically. If he takes, I take. I'm still attacking this pawn. I could still go here to... Okay, he did not take, but that has to be bad because... That has to be bad. Because now I go here, and I have a protected pass pawn. But he's always able to play this move, so I need to be careful. Let me get my rook on the same file as his king. I'd love to play d5. He's not going to allow that though. He moves his rook, preventing d5. And I'm going to put my rook here because I want to add more attackers to this pawn. And I also want to play c5, but then I'm going to lose this pawn, so I may need to get my king over there. Okay, that was not a bad move, but I'll go here. It's the same idea. If he takes, I'm just going to take. Okay, so let's just take here. Now I'm threatening to play d5 and winning this pawn. So he has to move the king. It would be sad if he loses like that. I have 54 seconds. I like this move. I want to get my king over there first. So, oh, but this is a nice check. Let's give a check. And now we take. His king has to move. And, oh, but c4 is a very strong and annoying move. Because then I'm going to lose this pawn. So I'm going to play c4. And then I'm going to get my king over there and then try to win with my pass pawn. Let's see how this goes. It would also be good if I could get my rook behind my pass pawn. I'm just trying to get my king over there to support. He's doing the right thing, which is advancing these pawns. Let me go here. Okay, that's still good. I'm going to go here, just preventing his pawn advances. The time is now ticking down, so I still need to pay attention to the clock. I have my pre-moved enabled though, so I'm fine. Wait, what did he even play? What did he play? Oh, he moves his rook. Let me pull back my rook. I'm thinking about this move. I'm thinking about getting my king all the way over here because I want to start pushing my pawn. That's the idea. And I don't think he knows how to make progress. Isn't this a pawn? How does he defend this pawn? Wait, he blundered a pawn because his rook is okay. Let's just take. Or maybe he's just trying to win on time. That would be a very nice checkmate. Oh, he's attacking that. So let's first protect it. And then I want to set up a checkmate here. So now I'm going to go here. And that's checkmate. So he has to do something about that. Pushing this pawn prevents it. Good game. Good game. Hopefully you guys learned something from this video. Let's see. So basically, in the Endglund Gambit, white was already slightly better here. Yeah, white is already still slightly better here. But then from here, it's kind of equal. So he shouldn't have allowed the queens off the board. It would have been better for him to play knight takes. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. And then knight d4 is a move. I probably would have just take here though. But then he has bishop b5. And then he just has very good development. Hopefully you guys learned some stuff from this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.